Welcome to Azelinguistics. This channel is about all things linguistic, discussing topics in phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and sociolinguistics. So let's see what we've got today. There's two ways of transcribing sounds: broad transcription and narrow transcription. Okay, so the difference is, in broad transcription you don't provide much detail. You only write the primary sound symbols. Or in other words, I could say broad transcription is phonemic transcription. We just write the phonemes of the given language. We don't write the allophones. But what is narrow transcription? I could say narrow transcription means transcribing the phonemes as well as the allophones. This is a simple definition of narrow transcription. So we already talked about phonetic transcription because we already talked about the International Phonetic Alphabet. This is a phonetic alphabet. We have talked about the consonants, the vowels, and then the other symbols and the secondary symbols. These are the diacritics, the secondary symbols, these ones, that can sit on top of or below the primary symbols and modify the way they're pronounced. And this is very important for showing more detail about the way things are pronounced. If I tell you the word pen and you know the symbols, you should be able to write this, or this actually. So we're going to stick with this, A's. And then if I tell you the word day, you need to write it this way. Now, once we feel comfortable with the sounds and symbols, with symbols for sounds we already know, we can move on to symbols which are less familiar and sounds that we don't know how to write. The broad to narrow transcription is a continuum, and then so there's no absolute point where it becomes broad. And also when you say narrow, it means you provide more details. So I'm going to move towards narrow transcriptions because we need to capture more detail in our transcriptions. Well, the point is, first of all, in a dictionary, you wouldn't see the narrow transcription. So you can only expect A's to provide you with narrow transcription. Second of all, for narrow transcription, we use square brackets. So what happens in narrow transcription, I told you, narrow transcription means allophonic or more detail, okay? So for now, let's just focus on the allophones. So gradually, we're going to provide more details. So if you're a French speaker or Spanish speaker or even a Portuguese speaker, and then you learn English, you come across the word pen. So there is a difference. Like the Spanish speaker, so this is what the Spanish speakers pronounce. They say pen.
Pen.
So why do we need narrow transcription? Okay, now I'm going to give you one reason why we need narrow transcription. The reason is, if you're a Spanish speaker who is learning English, and then I give you the word pen, you would say
Pen.
And then I would say, oh, you are saying the pe, you're saying the e, you're saying the na. But that's not how we say the word in English. You need to tweak your pronunciation modify your pronunciation in a way that sounds more like the native speaker of English. Of course, that assumes that you want to sound like a native speaker of English, and many people may not want to do that. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just saying if you choose to do that, this is going to tell you how you can do it. So if I want to tell you as a speaker of Spanish, how to tweak your pronunciation in a way that sounds more like the English speaker, I would say you need to change your p. In English, the first p is aspirated. It means there's a puff of air. If you hold a piece of paper in front of your mouth and pronounce the p, in English, pen, the paper would move. But in Spanish, pen, it wouldn't. So this extra puff of air that is pronounced with p, it's indicated by using a diacritic, which you can find here. You see aspirated, and it's put there. So this is an aspirated t, this is an aspirated t. In English, p in pen is aspirated. So now as a speaker of Spanish, you can start producing the aspirated p in pen. You can hold a sheet of paper in front of your mouth and say, and add a puff add some puff into your p until you see the sheet of paper moving. Pen, pen. To do the p.
Pen.
Okay, here you are, folks. Aspirate your p's in pen in English. So for day, this puff of air, this extra puff of air, doesn't happen in day. So I'm not putting that diacritic here. You see, I have used diacritic here. I will come here to talk about the diacritic. If you come down here, look at this symbol. You see this diacritic which sits underneath the symbol, the primary symbol. Well, this is what I've used here because I wanted to indicate that these two vowels are not separate from each other. They are together. When the second one is not syllabic, it means it's a diphthong. It's two vowels which are pronounced closely as one unit. It's day. Otherwise, it would be dei. Dei. So it's not dei. So far, I introduced what narrow transcription can be, and it is going to get narrower from now on. So we're going to get increasingly more and more narrow from now on in our transcriptions, and that is going to be the topic of our next video and videos, because in every video I'm going to introduce an extra layer of detail that we can add in narrow transcription. So stay tuned. Thanks for your time and attention, and see you again soon.